Voiceover, deep, slow at first, building into powerful, urgent delivery. Opening, first approximately 2 minutes, rising passion, listen, when the horizon cracks and the sky itself remembers the names of giants, it is the thunderstrike that sings the last note. Imagine a flash across the dawn, not of sunlight but of intent, a streak of molten silver that eats distance like a blade. In 2 heartbeats it is gone from sight, in 2 more it has rewritten the map of battle. Cities that trusted their distance discover that range was an old promise, safe harbors and hardened bunkers learn that safety is a memory. This is not merely speed. This is annihilation delivered with the precision of a scalpel and the inevitability of a thunderstorm. From the coastlines of Australia to the island defenses of Japan, nothing moves fast enough to outrun the Thunderstrike's judgment. Its missiles do not travel, they outrun time itself, crossing hundreds of kilometers as if space had been folded. An enemy formation, a command node, a network battery, they are all locations on a countdown, and the countdown belongs to the jet. Here the world shift underfoot, airports go silent, communications stutter, radars gasp as signals vanish into the jet's wake. Where once fleets maneuvered for position, now positions maneuver for mercy. When the F-29 opens its throat, entire doctrines hemorrhage, layered air defenses become paper, and the logistics that once sustained war find themselves erased from the ledger. And yet, there is art in this violence. Each strike is not blind rage but a composition, a conductor's baton pulling drones, missiles, decoys and cyber feints into a single chord of destruction. The Thunderstrike does not merely strike targets, it composes outcomes. It is the decisive argument in 60 seconds that determines the fate of hours, the verdict that collapses campaigns into single, crystalline moments. Transition, calmer but still intense, this is the calculus of a future where distance no longer protects. This is what dominance looks like when humanity invents a voice loud enough to order the sky. Middle, technical features and battlefield role, clear, proud, they named it F-29, but names are small things. The aircraft you hear about as Thunderstrike is an amalgam of 1,000 advances, hypersonic propulsion that sustains controlled flight well beyond Mach 6, an adaptive airframe that reshapes its own flow to vanish from every sensor that hunts it, and an onboard sovereign intelligence that decides, in microseconds, which threat to extinguish and which to ignore. Its armory is not a list of weapons but a layered orchestra, hypersonic glide weapons that dive like asteroids, directed energy systems that blind or burn electronics before kinetic ordnance arrives, and swarms of autonomous micro-drones that find and fix what larger munitions then remove. Sensor fusion blurs thermal, radar, quantum lidar and neutrino edge detection into a single, unblinking picture. Communications ride on quantum links and resilient mesh networks, impossible to jam for long by any conventional means. Range is not an afterthought. The Thunderstrike's strike package reaches across oceanic distances previously reserved for missiles and satellites. It can launch from a bastion hundreds of kilometers away, steer a hypersonic weapon 2/3 of a continent over, and return before the morning watch has finished its coffee. Fuel, once a constraint, is managed by hybrid cycles and atmospheric energy capture, efficiency that turns distance into reach and reach into surprise. And its brain, the apex of onboard cognition, learns from every engagement. Adaptive tactics rewrite themselves mid-flight. When an adversary deploys a new countermeasure, the F-29 responds with a countermeasure within the same engagement. It is less a machine and more a thinking instrument of war, ruthless, fast, surgical. Battlefield impact, direct, imaginative. When Australia's long-range coastal batteries pivot and Japan's island airfields scramble, it is the Thunderstrike that decides which alarms will sound and which will never be heard again. Defensive networks crumble under coordinated volleys, false targets, electromagnetic ghosts, and precision hypersonics arriving at a point the defenders never expected to be contested. Its presence is strategic. The jet is not merely a tactical asset but a theater-level keystone. Commanders on both sides must plan around the possibility that anywhere within the designated theater could be reached in minutes. Supply chains reroute, doctrines are rewritten, alliances are tested. In the age of the F-29, deterrence is redefined by speed and the certainty of impact. Ethical hint, brief, sober, this power is not a spectacle. It carries consequences that ripple through societies and through the very rules that govern conflict. What can be reached in seconds changes not only warfighting but politics, economies and the fragile calculus of survival. Closing, rising to a dawn-strong finale, and yet, for all its fury, the Thunderstrike remains a forbidding sentinel of human invention, the apex of what happens when ambition and engineering collide. It stands as both promise and warning. The future is fast, and it's just as swift. When the thunder dies down and the sky clears, history will not remember the names of those who hid behind walls of distance. It will remember the shape that moved the fastest, the instrument that altered fate in the span of a heartbeat. In the story written between Australia and Japan 8.5 centuries from now, the Astelia Thunderstrike F-29 is not just an aircraft. It is the last argument in the air, decisive, absolute, and unforgettable. And, soften, then final punch. Listen to that silence after the strike. It is not peace. It is the sound of strategy fulfilled. It is the sound of thunder.